Hello, HCA students and MH students. My name is Chris Gibbons. I'm the director for the HCA program, and I'm the coordinator for the MHA program. And coming to you with my semi-regular videos with updates going on in your program. And in this video, I really want to talk about the impact that's happening because of all of this situation that's going on right now with COVID-19, and the impact that's happening to your life, and that's also coming into the classroom and impacting your academics. I know that many of you are working in healthcare. About 98% of our students in those two programs work in healthcare. And if you're involved with direct COVID-19 support, well, your life is very busy. And that's one stress. And then on the other side, a majority of you, or many of you, who are not involved with maybe COVID support, have been either furloughed or laid off or hours reduced because of all the elective procedures not being done in healthcare. The bread and butter, the financial bread and butter of healthcare are not being done. So there's a lot of disruption that's happening, right now within healthcare. And obviously that disruption in your professional life is going to impact the classroom. Then when you throw on top of that quarantine issues, that's going to disrupt the classroom as well. And children at home when you're normally at school, and that adds another layer of family obligations, maybe elderly parents that you're looking in on, that normally, they were able to get out on their own, but there's just so many changes going on right now. So what I want to talk to you about is that, and to make you aware of certain policies out there or procedures out there for you that are available to help you. So I really hope you're watching this video. I've had a few students reach out to me over the weekend, and we've talked about this through email with them, but I wanted to let the entire group know about this as well. So let's say, for example, if you have an issue because of these external factors that are happening right now within healthcare or within society that are impacting your ability to do the coursework, okay? Maybe you've fallen behind, or you see it difficulties in completing your coursework. What I want you to do is I want you to reach out to your instructor, okay? I want you to talk about that with them, all right? Email them. They have been given great latitude in dealing with this, okay? So late assignments or what have you, as long as you're communicating to your instructor, in many cases, those late assignments, will be accepted, maybe with no deduction on points or only a very, very few deduction on points. Okay, so make sure you're communicating to your instructors. And if it is, obviously if you're late because you're late, that's one thing, but if you're late because of, I guess, forces outside of your control, that is what you want to talk about with your instructor, okay? And they can have some discretion within the classroom on basically how they're going to get you to those, the completion of those assignments. Ultimately, everything needs to be done. No one's getting an out on anything. But let's face it, these are some unusual times. So how we get to the completion of those assignments, your instructor can, work with you. Now, another tool available to you, and I'm going to show you here, so we'll minimize the screen, is that if you feel necessary that within the confines of the normal class term, the 8-week courses, most of our courses run 8 weeks. We're in week 5 right now. And if you get to a point where you feel like you cannot simply make it, you can request what we have here. Let me scoot this down a bit. It's called a request for incomplete grade form. All right. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to work with your instructor on this, okay? And I'll just kind of give you the parameters of this, and then you can first you want to check with yourself. Do I meet these parameters? If you don't, then you don't do the form and you just take your lumps, okay? Take whatever it is, work with your instructor to try to get it done. But if you do meet these parameters, what the incomplete grade will do is that you'll get a grade, the course will end, you'll get an incomplete grade, an I, on your transcript, and that's just a placeholder grade to allow you more time to complete the course. And you and the instructor will determine how long it's going to take to complete that course. Maybe an extra week you might need, who knows? But that's something that you and the instructor will have a discussion about. But what I want you to do is be aware of your ability to request that incomplete grade. If the instructor doesn't, in many cases, I'll bring it up to the student if I know the situation. And for those of you that are taking some of my courses, you know that we have progress journals, so sometimes I'm aware of situations, and I can obviously see that there's an external factor in there that we can have a discussion about an incomplete grade. But that's just me. The way that this particular incomplete grade process works is it's student driven, okay, that you are supposed to request it, okay? So don't assume every instructor is going to come forward and say, hey, I know you're having a hard time meeting the objectives of this course. I know that you've been working, 80 hours a week with COVID. Let's talk about it incomplete. That technically the instructor is not required to do that, nor really should they be doing it, or I should say they shouldn't have to do that. It's all student driven. So you have the ability to request an incomplete grade. Let's take a look at this process here. So an incomplete grade must be requested prior to the last day of the term. Okay, so you can't do it after the course is done. Okay, you got to do it before the course is done. Okay, guys, don't. It's an automatic denial if you do it afterwards. The student must submit the grade form to the course faculty. Okay, so you're going to fill this form out, and you can find it on our college website. Go under My Mercy, go to the Student Records Department on My Mercy, and you can find that course under Student Forms in there. Okay, so you're going to fill out this form. Now, the student must have completed 75% of the course assignments to be eligible for the incomplete. So make sure you're at least to that threshold. All right, that you get to that threshold before the normal run of the course, okay, 75%. And that's where you're going to dialogue with your instructor to figure out, okay, are you at the 75% rate? If you're not, then you're not eligible for that. So if you've done nothing in the course from day one, don't expect to get it incomplete unless you have 75% of the course done. And again, you and the instructor will determine that based off what you've submitted so far. And then number 4, okay, documentation outlining the extenuating circumstances. Okay, so you have to say why this was outside of my control. All right, so that's, again, and that might be a kind of a conversation with the instructor on what they really need here. In some cases, it's very evident. I know the student. I know they're working at an emergency department. And then I know that, obviously they've had extra hours in there. In that case, I may not request a lot of additional documentation. If that's, they're someone that I'm not really familiar with their situation, again, you may need to attach additional documentation outlining extenuating circumstances, not because I failed to plan or have poor time management. See, what are the extenuating circumstances that led to you requesting that? Okay, guys? And then the instructor recommends to the dean. Again, typically it's all instructor driven on how long it's going to be, and instructors will work with the program director typically just to confirm what they'll need to do on that. So there you go. And there's other parts of this form, as you can see here. Justification for requesting, emergency, extended absence, or other. These are just boxes someone has already clicked. But you can, again, the key is this has to be out of the ordinary. Every day is out of the ordinary right now. But how has the everyday out of the ordinary impacted your ability to complete this course, or the course that you're requesting the incomplete grade for? So that is out there for you. I don't want to see you do a withdraw from a course because of that you felt like I can't do it, I can't get this stuff done because of the extenuating circumstances. And that's why I got done working with a student just this morning, and they were thinking about withdrawing from the course, and there no refund, and it would have been all this money, and they would have had to take it over again. Where if this is approved, a couple extra weeks at the end of the course makes a real big difference. They meet the course objectives. Nobody's getting out of work, but a couple of extra weeks, if approved, again, remember it's got to be approved, extenuating circumstances outside of your control. And I think in talking to the student that most likely this is going to be approved for her, makes all the difference in the world. So there you go. I know we don't talk about this a lot, and it is a student-driven process. So talk to your instructors. If you feel like you're in a bind, talk to your instructors, and if that incomplete is warranted. Now, some of you may be going, oh, great, let's all do incompletes. I mean, you really want to get the course done. So if you can get the course done, I would get it done, because it does, it goes into the next semester, and you could have other courses starting. So my recommendation for you would be, like, if you felt, and I know how it is, I'm going to school as well, that if I get the assignment complete, it's not my best assignment, but it's done, and you end up getting a B in the course, so be it. Move on, get her done, move on to the next one. But if you really feel that you can't get the work done in order to necessarily pass the course for graduate level coursework, for graduate, I'm talking to my graduate students here, you have to have a B or better. And for my undergrad students, my bachelor students, you have to have a C or better. So in the world of graduates, B's get degrees. In the world of undergrads, C's get degrees. So sometimes just getting it done is fine too. So use your judgment there with these extenuating circumstances and impacting and ability to complete work and all of that. I would, so that's my recommendation to you is, if you can finish it, just finish it and be done with it. And maybe it's not the perfect grade, but you move on. These incomplete grades, again, the work still needs to be completed, and you got other courses starting, and it can be a little challenging. Now, for those of you, so that's the incomplete grade process. For those of you that may be carrying on an incomplete grade into our summer semester, and maybe you want, once this is approved, okay, approved, guys, once this is approved for you, then if you feel like, hey, I don't want to take any courses for the first 6 weeks, because in summer, remember, we've got 2 6-week classes, I just want to get this course done and then move on in the second 6 weeks of summer, that may be a good strategy. But talk to your academic advisor about that if you're going to go that route. For master's program, I'm your faculty member, and I'm your academic advisor for the master's program. For the bachelor's program, all of you know Melanie, or you probably should know Melanie. You'll want to talk to her about that. But I would only do that after you've received confirmation that this has been approved. All right, so that was all I wanted to talk about this week. Again, I hope everybody's doing okay and staying safe and all that stuff out there that we're probably kind of tired of hearing about. I'm getting a little COVID-19 fatigue here, but hope everybody's keeping their sanity and getting some rest and taking this time to really focus on what's important. So, all right, everybody have a great week, and I'll check in with you soon. Thanks.